Alright, what is up everyone? This is Mike here today, and I'm predicting the Baltimore Ravens schedule heading into the 2020 NFL season. So, we're on our last division. We're on the AFC North, and we finished the Steelers last video. Make sure to check that out because there will be spoilers. But today, we're predicting the Baltimore Ravens. Keep up supporting these videos. We really appreciate all of our subscribers, and we're going to start shouting out some subscribers. Quick shout out to T-Tang. T-Tang, what a beast. Solid, loyal subscriber. And before we start talking about the Ravens' actual schedule, we talk about the Ravens roster. Ravens roster looking stacked as ever. Obviously, 2019 they went 14-2, and now in 2020 they are ranked to have the easiest schedule in the NFL. Factor all that in. Let's see how the Ravens are going to do. The receivers, decent enough receiver room. Marquise Brown definitely has some over-the-top burner speed. Willie Snead, pretty solid. Obviously, a pretty strong offensive line for the Ravens. MVP quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Jackson just, who cares how he is because, he's going to scramble for 100 million yards. Defenses might start to figure him out, but it's not going to happen this year. I think maybe next year is where you start running into some issues maybe, but this year he'll be just as dominant as ever. Running back room only got better. Mark Ingram's getting a little older, but unfortunately, stupid Ohio State. They drafted Ohio State running back J.K. Dobbins. I watched J.K. Dobbins. He was, obviously it was a running back heavy draft this year, and they were selected from the end of the first round to the, middle of the second round. J.K. Dobbins, I feel like he fell a lot, and he fell right into the Ravens' lap, and they did not miss the opportunity, so he's going to help out this team. Ravens defense, elite, competing for the best defense in the league. I think the rival Steelers have the best defense in the league. But the Ravens definitely have some notable players on defense. They drafted Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen fell in the draft. He fell right into their lap. Good linebacker for them. Earl Thomas, elite as ever. And, Ravens offense and defense, not many holes. I can't find any holes, really. Ravens are going to be a solid team, and they have the easiest schedule in the league. Starting off week 1, they play the Cleveland Browns. It's a home game for the Ravens. Browns aren't going to pose enough of a threat to the Ravens this year. The Browns' offense, honestly, should be promising. Baker Mayfield is honestly a question mark still in my mind. But the Browns' defense isn't going to hold off Lamar Jackson. Ravens win this game week 1, 1-0. Then they play the Houston Texans. It's an away game. The Texans aren't going to start off that hot this year. They're going to have to figure out how they're going to use Brandon Cooks and Randall Cobb to replace DeAndre Hopkins, which is going to be pretty difficult considering Hopkins is best receiver in the league. Texans defense, they get J.J. Watt back, but, the Ravens defensive line is going to feast against the Texans offensive front, and the Ravens start off 2-0. Then they play the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, we saw this game in 2019, but this time it's in Baltimore, and I think the Ravens pull away with the win. This matchup week 3 is definitely going to be something everyone looks forward to. I just think the Ravens have a better roster overall. The Chiefs don't really have any holes per se, but they do have some softer spots on the defense. So I think the Ravens pull away with the win here, and they're 3-0. It's a huge win for the Ravens, especially heading into the next 2 games, which are pretty easy. Those next 2 games, they play the Washington Redskins in Washington. Come on now. Mark that up as a win. Get ready to see some highlights of Lamar Jackson juking the heels out of some safeties in that game. And then they play the Bengals. First time that the new-look Bengals are going to be playing the Ravens. Welcome to the NFL, Joe Burrow. Going up against the top defense, and you're going against Lamar Jackson. There's no shot Joe Burrow enters the league. The Bengals, there's no shot he enters the league and wins this game. Lamar Jackson has better pieces surrounding him than Joe Burrow does. And Jackson, honestly, at this point in his career, they're different style quarterbacks, but Lamar Jackson just has him beat. 5-0, solid start. All right, their first loss of the season comes in Philadelphia. They have to travel to play the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Eagles, they made the playoffs last year with a completely injured and decimated roster. They're getting a lot of pieces back, all their pieces back. Jalen Reagor, they added a speed threat. They got Marquise Godwin for the speed. And they signed Javon Hargrave to bolster up the best defensive line in the NFL. I think, Philadelphia is obviously a hard spot to play, and I'm giving them the win for this home field advantage. But something to keep in mind with the coronavirus, if home field advantage doesn't exist and there's no fans, then, the Ravens could get the win here against Philadelphia. But we'll mark it off as 5-1. Then they play the Steelers for the first matchup. So the Steelers' defense definitely elite. They're gonna have to contain Lamar Jackson in this game, though. I definitely think that the Steelers can contend with the Ravens. It's just that Ben Roethlisberger is too much of a question mark. Lamar Jackson's established and his whole entire team is stacked. Steelers do have a solid roster, but Ben Roethlisberger is, I can't say Steelers 14-2 because Ben Roethlisberger, he's old and he's coming back from injury. So what am I supposed to do here? I'm gonna be safe and just say that the Ravens split with the Steelers in 2020. We'll give them the win right here in Baltimore. So 6-1. Then they play the Indianapolis Colts. This is in Indianapolis. Gonna be a tough, interesting game. I definitely think the Ravens defense is gonna have more success against Phillip Rivers than the Colts defense is gonna have against Lamar Jackson. Jackson does it with his arm and his legs. Phillip Rivers definitely does not do it with his legs. So we'll give this win to the Ravens, 7-1. Then they play the New England Patriots. It's in Foxborough. It's gonna be kind of an interesting game. So when I predicted the Ravens record, Cam Newton was not a Patriot. Now he is, obviously, which does add some excitement to this game. Lamar Jackson versus Cam Newton is going to be fun to watch. It's in Foxborough, but it's not going to matter. Ravens roster is stronger overall. Stephon Gilmore can take Marquise Brown out of the game, but it doesn't matter because the run game for the Ravens is so strong. The Ravens ran the ball the most out of any team in 2019. So Ravens, 8-1 now, solid start. Now we got three tough games, honestly. They play the Tennessee Titans in Baltimore. History has proven that it repeats itself quite often, and history will repeat itself right here. The Baltimore Ravens fall to the Tennessee Titans. I don't know how it's going to happen. Go look up the highlights of the 2019 game where the Titans beat the Ravens. I don't know. I just have a feeling right here that the Titans come in and get the business done. Obviously, the Ravens are going to be looking for revenge. I just think they fall short. I don't know why. Maybe the Titans have the Ravens number in years moving forward. 8-2. Next, they play the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is in Pittsburgh. Like I said, chalk it up as a split. I say the Ravens split with the Steelers in 2020. Maybe Ben Roethlisberger is great. Maybe he's injured. If he's injured, GG. But 8-3. Then they play the Cowboys. It's in Baltimore. The Cowboys, they franchise tag Dak, so they have a quarterback, which is good. But the Cowboys secondary is way too young. A lot of new pieces on that defense in terms of defensive line. Their defensive line is going to be strong, but it's a couple of new guys. Dontari Poe, I think, is one of them. Gerald McCoy is one of them. And also the Cowboys secondary is very young. Cowboys are going to lose this game, and the Ravens go to 9-3. Final couple games, really easy closing schedule for the Ravens. Easiest thing I've ever witnessed in my own personal life. They play the Cleveland Browns. This is in Cleveland, not going to matter. Come on now. Browns are not going to contend with the Ravens in 2020. So it looks like that is 10-1. Then they play the Jacksonville Jaguars, the worst team in the league, versus arguably one of the best. Easy win. Jaguars defense horrible. Gardner Minshew, not a good quarterback. Get it out of your head. Then they play the New York Giants. I think people are sleeping on the Giants' offense, honestly. They got the offensive lineman they wanted in the draft. I think Daniel Jones can develop into a better quarterback. Best running back in the league, Saquon. Really strong, undervalued receiving core. Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Golden Tate. A lot of people that, they can definitely bring stuff to the team. And then Evan Ingram, if he stays healthy, he's one of the fastest tight ends in the game. Giants offense, good enough. But then you look at the defense. Giants defense, they're going to choke this game hard. If they had a solid defense, there'd be upset potential. The Giants defense not going to be good enough. So 12-3 at this point. 12-3. They're trying to get some seeding advantages in the playoffs, and they play the Cincinnati Bengals to finish things off in Cincinnati. Bengals probably going to be looking to upset the Ravens here. They want to mess up their divisional rivals. It's not going to happen. Ravens get the job done, finish off their schedule 13-3. Last year they were 14-2, but they fell short obviously in the playoffs. I think this year they're going to be 13-3. Easiest schedule I've ever seen in my entire life, especially those last 4 games. Guaranteed 4-0 in that stretch. But there it is. Ravens 13-3. I predicted the Steelers to be 10-6. But like I said, I'm not high on Ben Roethlisberger. Definitely think that Lamar Jackson is going to have another breakout year right here. 13-3 for the Ravens. Next up, Browns and Bengals. Make sure to stay tuned. Show some support.